What up guys, ThatzNOTmetal983 here bringing you updates and purchases number 26 part 2, and this is the second video of 3 that I'm going to be doing as part of updates and purchases number 26. As I said in my previous video, if you haven't watched that video, it'll be linked in the description. But yeah, as you can read by the title, this is going to be a CD collection update, as this, without a shadow of a doubt, is probably the most amount of CDs I've featured in an updates and purchases. I've got a shit ton to showcase for you, and this has come about, as I said in my previous video, because of my new job what I've got, and it's been spending well, put it that way. But yeah, I better get straight on with it because I've got a lot to showcase. The first two are compilation of sorts. The first one is a compilation. I'm talking about Kerrang presents Metallica, the Black Album covered. Now this is a pretty awesome compilation, features a load of big names covering Metallica's famous Black Album, the likes of Rise from Main, Devil Driver, Yashin, Motionless in White, Evil, amongst other names. My favourite track on this one has to be The Unforgiven, done by The Defiled. Amazing. I'm not being biased, in all honesty, it's honestly an amazing track, and Stitch's vocals just suit that track so much. The next one isn't really a compilation, it's more of a split, but it's in with the compilations on my CD shelf. You get the idea. But this is, without a shadow of a doubt, probably my favourite split of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'm talking about the Involuntary Cranial Excision EP from the two bands Chainsaw Castration and Visions of Disfigurement. If you're into your brutal death metal, I urge you to check this out. It is fucking phenomenal. It's got a bit of beatdown influence here and there, but it's seriously heavy as fuck and quite groovy as well. Brought out under Slamchester Records. If you dig this, you'll love it. You should love it anyway. Right, now to get on to the albums. I might as well just quickly point out, in my previous video I showcased a couple of CDs. I decided to feature these in this video because there might be some people about, like, thinking, oh, what do you think of this album, what do you think of that album? Yeah, they haven't watched that one, but they might want to see it in this one, but yeah, it's in now. So first one, we've got 38 Snub, the Warning Shot EP, really good beatdown brutal death metal combo. Next up, Evanalanjones, the Satanic Verses. Good album if you like your black metal. The Acacia Strain, The Dead Walk. Got this on eBay pretty cheap. Really good album. Eon's Black. Agog, Pale Folklore. Amazing album, amazing band. Agog, Ashes Against the Grain. Once again, amazing album, amazing band. Alter Bridge, AB 3.5. Totally forgot how awesome this album is. It's incredible. If you love your alternative metal and you haven't checked out this, it's great. I'd even say if you're into like melodic groove metal kind of stuff, check it out. It's great. Next one, Arch Enemy, Rise of the Tyrant. Yeah, got that in my old workplace, pretty cheap. Anteria, what's this one called? Echoes of the Fallen. Yeah, I haven't checked this out yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I have checked out their debut album. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but great album nonetheless. Next up, Arsis, We Are the Nightmare, special edition in the slipcase. Yep, and comes with a bonus DVD, which I'm really looking forward to watching. I've actually heard this album all the way through, and it's absolutely amazing. Ryan Knight's guitar solos are the ones, like. Next up, As I Lay Dying, An Ocean Between Us. This is like a special kind of edition. You get a box and a lanyard, heavy duty lanyard, and the copy of the album, which is a fantastic album. I still miss this band, and I really love them. Still love them, should I just say. Anyway, Next up, Evanalanjones, The Powerless Rise. In my opinion, one of the better Evanalanjones albums, or in my opinion, one of the best Evanalanjones albums, rather. There's not really been a crap Evanalanjones album. Next up, The Autumn Offering with Revelations of the Unsung. Yeah. Looking forward to checking this out. I've heard some good things about this band. Banishment, Cleansing the Infirm. Behemoth, Demonica. Pretty cool compilation of old and mid-school Behemoth. Yep, pretty good stuff. I like it. Next up, Belphegor, Bondage, Goat Zombie. Amazing album. Definitely one of the best black and death metal albums to come out in years. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Next up, Belphegor, if I can speak. Belphegor, Conjuring the Dead. Yeah, really good album. Definitely check it out. Next up, Beneath the Massacre, Moir Noir. I think that's how you pronounce it. I only need one more album. That's Incongruous, I think it's called. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Next up, Between the Buried and Me, The Parallax Hypersleep Dialogues EP. Pretty good stuff. Even better stuff in my opinion. Between the Buried and Me, Coma Ecliptic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Digibook Edition. Yeah, really, really good album. Might actually review that when I get the chance. Next up, Beyond the Grave, Sands of Desolation. And Beyond the Grave, The Human Tide. If you're into your thrash metal, like modern thrash, check that out. Next up, got this as a freebie with another CD, which you'll see in a bit. Oops, sorry, I just kicked the camera stand. Why not? Next up, as I said, Beyond the Sixth Seal, The Resurrection of Everything Tough. Oh, sorry, yeah, Tough. Yeah. It's apparently melodic death metal, but from the vibes that I get from looking at this cover, it's going to be something like Death Clock, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. Looking forward to checking that out. Already showcased this one. The Black Dahlia Murder, Abysmal, Digibook Edition. Digibook Sleeve Thingy Edition. Mini disc there. Good album, definitely an upstep from Everblack. Next up, Black Tongue, The Unconquerable Dark. Really awesome album. Definitely a big step up. Next up, Blood Red Throne, Come Death. One of the best death metal albums I've heard recently. Next up, Borders, All This Time I've Spent. Really solid EP. If you're into your gent sort of stuff, definitely check this out. I'd say it's definitely a very strong EP. I might actually be reviewing that later this week, just so you know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Next up, The Breathing Process, In Waking Divinity. Pretty good album. Symphonic death metal. I don't know what happened to these guys. Apparently they're still active, but I haven't heard much from them since the last album, but whatever. Next up, Bring Me the Horizon, That's the Spirit. Yep. Pretty cool album. I'll have more to see in a review when that comes about. It's very different from previous stuff, but yeah, I didn't just get that CD. I also got the box set, as you can see, with the umbrella for the new album. If I can get it open. There we are. Inside, it's got the kind of swirl thingy going on. And then you also get a hat with That's the Spirit, which I'm probably not going to wear in all honesty. A stencil, which I'm probably not going to use. And a sticker, which I'm probably going to use. But yeah, pretty cool package. Pretty good album. It's very different, as I said before, but it's still a good album. Yeah. Sorry, I've still got me cold from the previous video. It sucks. Anyway, next up, Bullet for My Valentine, self-titled. This is like a mini album EP thingy. But yeah, awesome album, EP, whatever. Love it. Way better than anything that they've put out over the past couple of years. But yeah, next up, Burzum Vis Laceta Os. I think that's how you pronounce it. Digipack, awesome. And the disc print, amazing, great album. Next up, Cancer Bats, Bears, Mares, Scraps and Bones. Yeah, really good album. I really do like Cancer Bats now. Bonus DVD with them live at London. Yeah, but nonetheless, good album. I definitely need to pick up my favourite album of theirs. What's it called? Hail Destroyer. Thank you. Anyway, God, I wish it's called, but fuck off. Anyway, next up, Cannibal Corpse, The Wretched Spawn. Another one for the Cannibal Corpse discography, and this is the kind of special edition. Proper artwork, opening up the skull again, and then 2 discs. One of them's a DVD of them making of the album. But yeah, I haven't watched that yet, but regardless, I'm looking forward to. But it is a very, very good album. Next one, I'm definitely going to be reviewing this for me, bro. This is Carl Stacey with Cloud9. If you're into your prog, instrumental sort of stuff, then definitely check this out. It is really solid stuff. Definitely a great start for the guy, and he's signed it for us. Really appreciate it. I'll definitely do a review for you, bud, very, very soon. Next up, Cattle Decapitation, Humanure. Not the greatest Cattle album in my opinion. I still think Monolith of Inhumanity is just perfect. 10 out of 10 for that. But I'm going to be reviewing this next one very soon, and that is the new Cattle Decapitation album, the Anthropocene Extinction. Finally learned how to pronounce that. But yeah, digibook with a couple of bonus tracks and a DVD. Really, really good album. Next up, Celtic Frost, Monotheist. Now, as you know, I've got the album Morbid Tales on CD, but in my opinion, that album is pretty weak, in all honesty. Like, there's loads of people who'll argue with that and say I don't understand it and whatnot, but I don't give a shit. But I came across this album, decided to check it out, and my god, this is one of the darkest, most evilest albums I've heard in a long time. Easily one of the most evil ones. Like, Digipack album opens out like that, and it comes with a poster, which I'm thinking about actually hanging up. I don't know when I'll hang it up, but we'll see what happens. But there it is. Quite creepy, quite dark and sinister. I love it. Definitely, if I'm not mistaken, this was the last album they did before they split up, and they went out guns a-blazing, put it that way. Absolutely incredible album. I definitely think if you like me and you didn't like Morbid Tales and you thought, I'm giving up on the band, I definitely recommend this one. It is evil as fuck. Next one, Chamber of Malice 028 Hate EP album, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm probably going to review this at some point as well. Next one, I got this as a freebie with another CD, and this is Chaos Blood, Fragments of a Shattered Skull. Yeah, I haven't heard anything of this band, but I'm looking forward to checking it out regardless. Next one, Children of Boredom, I Worship Chaos, digibook with a bonus DVD at the back, and the CD over here. Yeah, really good album, and definitely a bit toned down if you ask me. Not as chaotic as previous Children of Boredom albums, but still regardless, great album. Next up, Coheed and Cambria with, oh god, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. Bit of a mouthful. Yeah, classic prog rock album. If you haven't heard this album even once, there's something wrong with you, and it's so good. Next up, Conga, War Cult Supremacy. Really good black and death metal, verging on kind of war metal kind of stuff. Yeah, 2 discs, really solid stuff. It's kind of like a compilation, this kind of thing, but still, regardless, check it out. Amazing. Next up, Converge, All We Love We Leave Behind. Classic math metal album. Amazing. And I love the artwork personally, but yeah. Moving on. Next one is probably going to be my next review. If not, it'll be up before this video. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, it's Cradle of Filth with Hammer of the Witches. I'll have more to say in the review, but thumbs up to it, put it that way. Next one, Crepitation, Violence of the Slams. Yeah, really good slam, brutal death metal stuff. Cut Up, Forensic Nightmare, good album. Another discography I've finally completed is Dark Funeral. I only needed The Secret of the Black Arts. This one's a pretty good album. Yeah, definitely prefer the modern stuff though. Next one, Vobiscum Satanas, I think this is how it's pronounced. Very boring album if you ask me, but still, it is what it is. And Dark Funeral, Antera Tortus Sanctus. Yeah, this one's pretty decent. I much prefer the other albums that I've got. What's it called again? Diabolus Interium and Angelus Ex Zero Pro Eternus. Much prefer those albums. Next up, Dawn of Chaos, The Need to Feed. Amazing. If you're into your old school death metal, check out this album. It's amazing. Yeah. I'll probably do a review on that very soon because it's godly. Anyway. Death Heaven, New Bermuda. I finally pronounced that right. I've been saying Death Havana for nearly a month now. It's been driving us insane. But yeah. Nonetheless, fantastic post-black metal album. If you're into your post-black metal or even black metal in general and you haven't heard this, get on it. It's amazing. Next up, Defeated Sanity, Psalms of the Moribund. I think that's how you pronounce it. Devil Wears Prada, Dead Throne. Devil Wears Prada, 818. I much prefer Dead Throne in all honesty, but this one's just meh to me. Next one, Devil Driver, Pray for Villains. Another discography completed, and I only needed this album. And what an album it is. I know people hate on Devil Driver, but I think they're awesome, personally. Next up, Dictated, The Deceived. Really good death metal. Probably still review this at some point. We'll see what happens. Down, Nola. Finally found this album in, I can't remember where. I think I found it in Hot Rats Records, quite cheap. And, correct us if I'm wrong, it says Nola, the album's called. But is it New Orleans Summit, Atlanta, or Los Angeles, or whatever it is? Let us know in the comments below. Yeah, but great album nonetheless. Classic. Next up, Helvetius? Yeah. Can't remember how to pronounce it, but still, amazing folk metal album. Definitely, I'd have to say it's one of the strongest albums in their discography. I know loads of people will disagree, but regardless, great album. Next up, Emperor in the Nightside Eclipse. Classic album. I just had to get it, and it's still a good album though. Even better album in my opinion. Engorging the Autopsy with Bludgeon to Oblivion. Check out this album featuring the vocalist from Operation Cunt Destroyer and the instrumentals done by one of the members of Vulvodynia. If you haven't checked out those bands either, check them out. I'll probably do a review Operation Cunt Destroyer at some point, but we'll see what happens. Next up, Entrails Obliteration. Really awesome death metal album. I think these guys are one of the most solid death metal bands that come out in recent years. Definitely know exactly what they're doing and how to bring the punishment. Next up, another Gent album, Exist Immortal with Darkness of an Age. This is the deluxe edition, limited to 50 copies, and I got number 35, which I'm really happy about. Got signed by all the band members, including the new guitarist. But yeah, really good album. Next up, Fear Factory Genexus. Really good album. It's currently standing can't remember where it is in my top albums, but it's definitely going to be getting a mention for sure. Next up, Flesh Rot, Dementia, Dyslexia. Really, really good album. I remember checking this out ages ago. I completely forgot about it, and then I saw it again. I was like, I must get it. So yeah, featuring, if I'm not mistaken, the drummer from Animals as Leaders and the singer from Job for a Cowboy is involved with this. I know it says Animosity, but I'm sure he's involved with Animals as Leaders. I could be wrong. But yeah, next up, For Today, Wake. Really good album. Might review that. Biggest surprise of the year was definitely the new George Corliss album entitled Invictus. Now, if you don't know who George Corliss is, he is the drummer and beat machine behind Nile. Really top-notch drummer, and this is his solo stuff. Really awesome, in fact. The drums are not as, I'm going to say, biblical and chaotic as they usually are on Nile albums. It's toned down, but it's still amazing. And his vocals, really good stuff, and guitar writing, all great. But great album nonetheless. If you haven't checked it out, definitely get on it. Next up, Ghost, Meliora. Really good album. Might actually review that. Another one I've been after for a while but totally forgot about was Hailstorm with The Strange Case Of. Really good album. If you haven't checked this out, I definitely recommend you check it out. I wasn't blown away at first, but then I actually paid attention, and it actually does blow my mind how good it is. Now, the next ones are a discography that I'm ashamed to admit I haven't completed, but I finally managed to complete it because I just remembered. I was like, ooh, I need to get all these albums. And I've got the new one, but I'll showcase that in a second. And this is my favourite death metal band of all time. In my opinion, they have the most solid albums throughout their discography, from the first album to the new album, and more so than Cannibal Corpse, more so than Immolation, Origin, Obituary, and all that. This is just my opinion. I know people's going to hate us for it, but this is just my opinion. So I'm talking about Hate Eternal, and this I've got Conquering the Throne, finally. King of All Kings, great album, as you know, I got a shirt of it. I Monarch, great album. But the new album, I'm talking about Infernus. Oh, such a heavy, crushing album. It, like Infidelamsterdam says, it's just like a freight train coming at you, and that is not wrong. Great album. I've got the box edition, which you get a patch, which I'm going to be sticking on my next jacket for sure. Copy of the album, which oddly enough comes with a download card, which I felt was a little bit weird, but regardless, there it is. It also comes with a flag of the artwork, which I am planning on sticking up at some point. I just don't know when and where, but we'll see what happens over the coming months. Now I'm just going to move these over like so, because I need to make some room so I can reach stuff. No. Anyway, next up, Hatebreed, Supremacy. Now, this is a very, very good album. I love Hatebreed, and this one features the song Defeatist and the song, Destroy Everything. Two of my favourite Hatebreed songs. Next up, Heart of a Coward, Deliverance. Really good album. I might actually review this. Slipcase, pretty good album. Immortal, Battles in the North. Isengard, Winterstruge, kind of like a folky, kind of black metal kind of stuff. Next up, I Wrestled the Bear Once, Hail Mary. Really good album, I'd have to say it's a lot more mature, in my opinion, than previous albums. I loved the last album, but this album is just downright brutal and destructive and all that. It's phenomenal. Next up, Kitty Oracle. This is the special edition, as you can read. Come on, you focus. There we are. Yeah, pretty good album. If you like Kitty, you know who they are. Classic album. Next one. Kronos, Arisen New Era. Horizon New Era, I think it's called. Yeah. Really good death metal from France. Awesome stuff. Next up. Lamagod 7, I think it's called. Stir und Drang. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, amazing album. I'll have more to say when it comes to review soon. Next two, Lay Down Rotten, Mask of Malice. Lay Down Rotten, Death Spell Catharsis. Yeah, really good album. I much prefer this one to the other one, but I prefer the artwork to Mask of Malice, in all honesty. Oh, itchy nose. Next up, A Life Once Lost, Hunter. Really good album if you're into your metalcore groove metal stuff. And actually, as it says, for fans of Every Time I Die, I definitely say you might like that if you like Every Time I Die. Next up, Live Burial, self-titled EP. I'm going to review this very soon. Yeah, this is the next part. Moonspell, Extinct. Digibook, Digipack kind of combo. Really, really good album. This is within a shot of being in me honourable mentions because it's that good. Not quite my top albums, there's a few better albums, but this is really, really solid stuff. Definitely check it out. If you're into gothic metal or stuff, male-fronted gothic metal, check that out. Next up, Nile, What Should Not Be Unearthed. Yes. Amazing album. Definitely a massive step up from At the Gates of Sethu. I did like At the Gates of Sethu at first, but then the more I listened to it, the more it annoyed us, the production and stuff, whereas this one is sorted right out. It's amazing. I really do wish, in all honesty, that would take Out the Gates of Sethu and remix it in that sound, or even Those Whom the Gods Detest production, and it would just be amazing, but that's not going to happen now. Anyway, moving on. Nosha, Tortured to Death. Been after this album for a long ass time. If you know your brutal deathcore from the UK, then you know these guys. Really good stuff. Next one is, now I said before that there were some special items in here, and this is the special item in question. I was after this album for a long ass time, and then I finally found it in Beatdown Records, going for like tenner or something like that, something about that. Dual case format, and I was really excited. Went back a couple of days later to get it when I got paid. It was gone. And this was nearly a year ago. Maybe even 2 years ago. I don't know. But yeah. And I was gutted. And I thought I would never ever see the album again. But then I found this one on eBay. And it was this version I've been after for the longest part. And I'm so pleased I finally have it. And I'm talking about Nocturnal Mortem with Lunar Poetry. The A5 Digipack version. Such a good album. Majestic, ambient, melodic, beautiful black metal. Incredible artwork, as you can see. Beautiful piece. Yeah, the lyric book, the guy behind it, and the CD. Limited to 1,000 copies, as you can read there. Proud as I am for having this album. I think I paid about £16 for it. And I put it on display back here. Loud and proud. I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah, you can see it. Let's move on from a great album to a great album again. And I'm talking about North Lane with Node. Really good new album from these guys. I have to say it's just as good as Singularity. And I love Singularity. So they're both just as good in my opinion. Next up, Nunslaughter with Angelic Dread. As you know, I've got the vinyl of this album. And it made us think, why have I not got it on CD? And then I found it on eBay going for quite cheap. So I picked it up. 2 CDs of just pure necro, black and thrash death kind of stuff. But yeah, solid stuff. Check it out. Next one, And now for something a little different. NWA Strength. Just give us a second. Let's try that again. NWA Straight Outta Compton. That's better. Classic rap album. I still can't speak. Straight Outta Compton is a classic rap album, and the reason I picked up this album, I've got the greatest hits as you've seen in my previous videos, but I went to see the film Straight Outta Compton, and I fell in love with the film. It's incredible. I need to get it on DVD as soon as it comes out. But I thought to myself, like, I've got the greatest hits. Why have I not got the Straight Outta Compton album? So I went out and actually bought it the next day. So I'm really happy about that, and it's been on repeat, put it that way. Fuck the police. Gay, I know. Anyway, moving on. Operation Cunt Destroyer, The Slam Before Time. Very controversial artwork. In all honesty, it did put us off checking out the album when it first came out. And I put it off it for a long time. And then I finally decided, I'm going to give it a spin, but just shrink and listen to the album in full. And it is incredible. A really good slam. It's got some beatdown influences here and there, and some great guest vocals here and there. And a weird rap section on Cries of a Chronic Masturbator from the vocalist of Chokehold, or the guy behind Chokehold. But yeah, nonetheless, a good album. I might actually review it soon, as I said before. Next one, Opeth, Still Life. Yeah, I'm sure I've got this album. Yeah, I do. I did have the album. Same as when I got a Monomars 1 cent from the Golden Hall. I seen this version and had to buy it. It's the Digibook edition, 2 discs. One of them surround sound with some live tracks, like videos and stuff like that. But yeah, good album, really good album. I'm starting to get right into Opeth now. But yeah, and in particular, Ghost Reveries. Classic album, as loads of you would agree. Classic album. Next up, Pestilent, Indulge in Human Survival Instincts EP. Pretty good stuff. Plague Rider, Paroxysm. I think that's how you pronounce it. Signed by all the band members. Really good tech death. A little bit more necro and grindier than previous album. The previous album. But yeah, still really good. I might actually review that. And it's weird to actually see a band using full on yellow for an album cover. Still looks good, if you ask me. Next up, Portal Outre. Finally have a CD of Portal, and it definitely won't be the last. Next up, Postmortem Promises on Broken Foundations. If you're into your deathcore and you're from the UK and you haven't heard of these, there's something wrong with you. Classic band, classic album. Next up, Pro Sanctus Inferi, Noctambulous Jaws Within Sempiternal Night. Classic black metal album. I might actually review that. I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel about doing it. Moving on. The Red Death, Godmakers. Yeah, Godmakers. Yeah. I remember checking out this album a while back, and I can't remember what I thought of it, but I saw it on eBay going for like 99 pence, so couldn't pass it up. Next up, Satyricon live at the Opera, with the Norwegian National Opera Chorus. Yeah, it's sad to hear about Satyri, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Find out he's got a brain tumour, which is sad. I hope he pulls through it, and all that, so best of wishes, mate. Anyway, you probably will never watch the video, but regardless. But yeah, I haven't watched this yet, but I've listened to one track on this. I've listened to one track on this, and it's pretty damn good. And it was The Pentagram Burns, which is my favourite song from Satyricon. If you haven't heard Satyricon before, and you're into black metal, then you need to change that drastically. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, regardless, I'm looking forward to checking that out, especially the DVD. That'll be something else. Next up, Shots Fired, Warpath EP. Pretty good stuff. I'm definitely going to be reviewing that. Science Fiction, The Faceless. Now you may think I'm sad for showing me band again, but it's called promotion, you know what I'm saying? But next up, 6 Feet Under, Crypt of the Devil. Pretty good stuff. It's a little different from what I was expecting. It's less groovier and more death metal and death and roll that they have been known for doing recently. And I've just knocked a CD on the floor. My bad. Next up, Slayer, Repentless. Really, really top-notch album. I really didn't expect much of this, because it's Slayer and I'm not a massive fan. I know I've got 2 CDs, but over the years I've just got bored of them. But I will say I think this is like kind of revived me liking for them. But yeah, it's a special edition kind of thing with some crazy upside down cross with some amazing artwork, which I'm hoping that one day I can actually look into getting a shirt with that kind of cross thing, either on the back or the front or whatever. But we'll see what happens. They'll probably will do something along that lines. Sorry, I've still got that cold, as I said before. It's fucking doing me head in. Next up, most of me death metal fans will be pleased I got this. It's a classic. Solstice, self-titled. Absolute classic. Really, really good. 2015 reissue, as you can see there. 2015. Yeah, really happy to have this. Next up, right, this is another discography. I have, I think, 3 albums of Soulfly in my collection. I have self-titled, Dark Ages, and Enslaved. Enslaved being my favourite album. And I thought to myself, why have I not got the rest of their albums? It's quite disappointing to me. So I thought to myself, why not look around, see what I can find? And I found nearly every special edition of the albums. And I've already got the special editions of all the albums so far, well, I mean the Dark Ages, self-titled, and Enslaved. So I thought I'd go on a bit of a hunt and find all the special editions of the albums. And I found them. And they are Primitive. This one I probably picked up the cheapest. I think it was like 49 pence on eBay. But yeah, I do like this album a lot. Soulfly 3. This was my least favourite, but now it's turned into one of the better albums. Next one, Prophecy. I didn't realise there was a special edition to this album, but I'm super pleased I found it. Next up, Soulfly Conquer. Really good album, especially the weird ass fucking cover of I think it's on this one. Where is it? Yeah, The Beautiful People, which is obviously by Marilyn Manson. I thought that was fucking weird and trippy as fuck, but yeah, regardless. Next up, Omen, special edition again. Yeah, pretty good album. Next up, Savages. This is probably my second favourite album of them, behind Enslaved. Yeah, really good album. Definitely check it out. It's back. That album pretty much is them going back to the groove metal kind of roots, roots, bloody roots. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Anyway, next up, Archangel, the new album. I definitely think this is a bit weaker than Savages, but it's still a good album to listen to. Kind of has a bit more of an anthem kind of vibe to it, especially with the song We Sold Our Souls to Metal. Moving on from Soulfly to Tesseract, and this is the new album Polaris. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Really good album. I'm probably going to review that at some point soon. Pardon me. Next up, Thy Art is Murder with Holy War. A great return album, great follow-up to Hate. I definitely think it's got more of a message behind it than Hate does, but I think it's just as good. I'm not saying it's better than Hate, and it's not worse, it's just as good. I'll have more to say on a review, but we'll see what happens over the next coming months. Alright, next up, Tremonti, All I Was. Now, if you don't know who Tremonti is, or Mark Tremonti, he is the guitarist of Alter Bridge, but is also the guitarist in, if I'm not mistaken, Creed. And this is his solo stuff. Now, my mate introduced us to these, or his solo stuff, not too long ago. And I was blown away by how heavy and groovy it was. And Mark Tremonti's voice is godly. Absolutely amazing. And this album is great. I need to get the new album, which I'll probably pick up very soon, but we'll see what happens. Next up, Triptychon, Milana Chasmara. This is the Digibook edition. Oops. It's not going well for me today, but who cares. This is like a poster thingy, which I'm not gonna... It's like an inverted cross kind of thing. But yeah, regardless, picked up this album. I've got the Digibook version of the previous album, so I had to get the Digibook version of this album. Took us a while to find it today, but... Not today, but like at the moment, because it's usually just the dual case version, but yeah, you get the idea. I'm going to quickly whiz through these next ones, because I've been keeping you long enough. Next up, we've got Trivium with Ember to Inferno. Really good album, a bit really thrashy compared to the modern stuff, and very up-paced. You can see how they definitely changed their sound over the years, from like the thrashier stuff to like the melodic metalcore stuff, and to the new album, Silence in the Snow, which is, in my opinion, it's a lot more epic and kind of like groovier, in my opinion, but still a great album. I'm probably going to review this. I know my bro Triple D is wanting us to review it, but we'll see what happens, matey. We'll see what happens. And what I'm definitely going to be reviewing is the new Vasivus EP entitled Rite of Ascension. Really good black and death metal, kind of, well, just evil as fuck death metal in all honesty, verging on blackened. But we'll see, but you get the picture. Next up, Veda, The Art of War. Really good EP. This one, Van Helge, Relics of Sulphur Salvation. Found this on eBay. It was in, what's his name? Runnerjma's, one of his collection update kind of things, a while back, and I really like the artwork, and I've decided to pick it up finally. Really good album, quite evil, quite good, quite good. Anyway, I've only got a couple left for yous, and then you can go and do what yous were going to do. Anyway, Vanna Void. Pretty good album, not the greatest of hardcore albums, but still has its moments. And the final two, we have our Wolves in the Throne Room, Celestial Lineage. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, really good atmospheric black metal. If you like Warden's Throne, Winter Fires sort of stuff, then definitely check this out. Godly. And the final one is an album that's, I kind of, how can I say it? I first listened to it and expected so much, and it kind of let us down, and then I seen it going cheap, bought it, listened to it again, and I felt the same vibes. But it's still got its moments here and there. I'm talking about World Under Blood, Tactical. If you haven't heard this album, definitely give it a try, as I did. I think it's really good, but it could have been so much better, in my opinion, but I might actually review it and put more opinions towards it, and we'll see what happens in the future. So, yep, that's me caught up to date. Oh, such a relief. There's so many CDs there, and so many I want to review and whatnot. I'm going to try and do some reviews this week. It just depends on what time I've got. I mean, I've got a load of free time this week, but I'm getting out with friends and all that, so we'll just see what happens, but cheers again. But we'll see what happens. I've promised a load of reviews there, but I'm definitely going to be getting consistent with my reviews again. So we'll just see what happens over the next coming weeks. I think my next review is definitely going to be the new Cradle of Filth though. Yeah, but stick around for that. I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you next video.